Good morning, YouTube. Just want to say welcome back to myself because I took a little bit of a break from working on my channel, putting out content. But, I just wanted to take some time for my family, and also had some other things going on. Everybody has things going on in their lives and stuff like that. But want to get back into my consistency. I love making content. I did have some pitfalls, things that I experienced that made me step back from doing this for a little bit. One was at the point in time I had a previous job. I just left that job and now with a new company now driving. And one of the things that I experienced in my previous job was one, they didn't allow me to do my content the way I wanted to. They gave me parameters, and I don't like restrictions. Period. So they wouldn't allow me to make any videos while I was driving, and they wouldn't allow me to promote while I'm driving and stuff like that. Like I have a YouTube magnet, basically I have it attached on both sides of my doors right now. It's a sign that promotes my channel. And they wouldn't allow me to have it on their vehicle, which I can understand, but at the same time, it's not hurting you for whatsoever. So, why not allow me to do what I need to do? Keep your employees happy. They out here doing their job and stuff like that. Allow them to be able to, put some type of marketing up. I'm not doing anything that's defacing a vehicle, or should I say doing anything that's making your company look bad. But yeah, that company had all these little things, whatever. So, I had to pull back a little bit off of that. So now my new company that I work for, they don't give me no restrictions. So, I got my signs up right now, and since I've had my signs up for about a few days now, and I've had some kind of interaction everywhere I go to, everywhere I stop at. Oh, you got a YouTube? And then, when people ask me and they're like, oh man, I'll follow you. I'm like, oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and get back to start making some current content because, I got new people following me, and you're only seeing my old stuff, and you're not seeing anything new coming from me. So that's giving me more motivation to get back into my game. Yeah, getting too close to the line over there. That's why you heard that sound just now. But anyways, giving me the fuel that I need to continue on doing what I'm doing. And besides all that, I'm back here on the channel. I'm putting out some new content for you guys. Giving some updates about what's going on in my life and what I am currently still moving forward with. I'm in the trucking industry, and to be honest with you right now, with everything going on in the world, the trucking industry is not really doing that well. Being over the road. I'm currently over the road right now. I'm in the Iowa area right now, but pretty much hanging around the Midwest and everything like that. But like I said, with the current predicaments that's going on in the world right now, the market for trucking is really being cut short right now. And it seems to always happen when it comes time for me to get my hustle on, something's going to be standing in your way to, slow you down. So, I joined this new company. And he's like, yeah, you're going to make X amount of dollars. You're going to do really well over the road. And if you're making this much, X, Y, Z, should be no reason why you shouldn't be making X amount of dollars. Then after a couple of weeks of work, and I'm seeing here, I'm not making that kind of money. Then, it comes up, oh man, with the tariffs this and Iran that. I'm like, okay, well, Me personally, I'm not following the news. I don't like to be focusing on the news because a lot of the stuff is not even being truthful coming out. So I'm not following half of that stuff at all. So the only thing I know about is what word of mouth of what other people are talking about. But I guess, economy wise is being affected by that. Truckers are experiencing these things. Well, at least I know I am. But over the road right now, it's cool. But one, I'm sacrificing a lot, not spending time with my family, being out here over the road, and try to make some money in order to, accomplish some goals for myself and for my family as well. Buying a home, as well as I'm going to move forward, with this whole trucking thing. I'm going to switch directions, should I say. I had an acquaintance recently tell me about an industry right now that's paying him a lot of money, and just opened my eyes and allowed me to think of something else outside the box. And basically, the guy told me about the dump truck business, and I had no thoughts whatsoever about the dump truck business at all. But once he told me about it and everything like that, and I started doing my own research, started noticing that there's a lot of money in the dump truck game. And even during times like this where people are being affected because of the economy and what's going on in other countries and everything else, that's not affecting the dump truck game. Even during the pandemic, people were still making money in the dump truck game because there's always construction going on. There's always something of that nature going on that it just can't stop. Not only that, whichever place you're at, whichever state you're in, there is not enough dump trucks out here actively working. Like, they need more drivers. And, of course, you can go work for a company, drive for a company, or you can go and get your own truck. I personally wouldn't advise you, working for a company because the money is not that great. I mean, drivers are making like $20, an hour, in certain places, stuff like that, which is okay, if you're, content with that. But as a owner, operator, the money is crazy. And I'm seeing this, from other people and everything else. So it's like, okay, I want to get into this avenue. I want to look into this direction. Come out here working over the road, you can make, working for a company, you can make, anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500, maybe a little bit more in certain places. But if you're an owner operator working at, doing dump truck, you can be making $800 a day. I've seen that, as far as averages, you do the math on that, working 5 days, or even if you're working 7 days, however way your hustle is, that topples that amount that you're making over the road, and you're home every day. That's another great point right there, for me wanting to look into that industry. Being home every day, being home with my family, living in Florida, I love Florida, man. I love the environment. I love just the weather, atmosphere, all of that. And not be able to experience that on a daily basis because I'm over the road in some other state. Oh man, there's construction out here, uneven lanes. But to be in some other state and everything else and not be able to experience and enjoy the things that you love, weighs on your mind. But it's all about right now. I have a goal in mind. I have something that I'm focused on. I'm trying to purchase a dump truck, and it's not cheap. And I've looked into the pros and cons versus you buying a used dump truck versus getting a brand new one. And everywhere I've researched, if you buy a used dump truck, you're putting yourself in a situation where you could be putting out a lot more money after the fact just getting it fixed, because something's going to go wrong with that dump truck. Now, versus you buying a brand new one, you can have a warranty covering yourself from the beginning to the end of your financing on that truck, and you're not spending nothing on maintenance, little to nothing on maintenance whatsoever. So, that being said, want to buy a brand new dump truck, I'm going to have to come up with the funding for that. Whether I'm coming up with, and I'm also hearing that, if you're a brand new person getting into this business and you're buying a dump truck for the first time, you can be expected to be paying 30% down on a dump truck, and dump trucks cost more than commercial semis do. You're looking at $200,000, $230,000, somewhere around in those range. And you got to come up with 30% of that, and that's like $70,000. So I ain't gonna sit here and say I ain't got $70,000. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't have $70,000, but I'm gonna get that money. And I'm looking into different avenues right now. I'm looking into grants right now. I'm researching a lot of heavy on grants. So I'm going to be diving deep on that. Start applying, being proactive with that on a daily basis. I'm always researching every single day on grants. So now I'm going to stop researching and doing more, actually applying for them as well. And look about getting that funding in, as well as I'm raising the money, being over the road. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I've seen a lot of successful people, start off with a first dump truck and get 5, 10 dump trucks and everything else on top of that. They're also running other dump trucks that are, subcontracting underneath them. And that all sounds great to me. I've got a lot of experience over the years driving trucks and everything. Seeing how the business is and how it's run. And this is definitely the avenue where I want to be at this current time. Having this business, get this business up and running. Also, I haven't forgotten about my whole online, business as well. I want to, have that presence as well. But everything requires, as I say in a lot of my videos, requires capital. And, you got to start with one thing and be able to move to the next. So that's where I'm at on this. And yeah, so I'm just keeping my mind focused and keeping my eyes on the prize and the goal at hand. I want you guys to keep focused on what it is that you want to do for yourself, whether it's in the trucking business or whether it's something else. But I'm giving you my firsthand knowledge on what I'm experiencing out here. And for all you guys that are looking to get into the trucking business, if you want to go over the road, right now, the money is okay, but, Lord willing, it'll get better. Society will start changing itself and take itself back up to where it needs to be at. And I look forward to that moment in time, But as far as also state of Florida, if you're a commercial driver in the state of Florida, the local work, it's hit or miss. Like, and I say this because there's a lot of local jobs available, but high paying ones, they're a dime a dozen, and those dimes, people are on them constantly. And a lot of them are not, and people are staying on those jobs and not giving them up. Like, say for instance, I've been applying consistently, trying to get in with Love's. I got all my endorsements. I got my TWIC card and everything else. Trying to get into the tanker side of the trucking industry because they pay well locally. And right now, nobody's giving up those positions. And when you see a position pop up, which I get, I get on-demand responses, showing me that there's a position open and I apply for it. Whether I get called back on it, still keep consistently doing that. But yeah, that's just here in Florida, So if you guys, are in the state, or you plan on moving to the state, in this type of business, expect that. That right now there's a lot of local jobs, but the local jobs ain't paying as well. That's why a lot of people are being over the road right now. There's a lot of companies out here that are trying to get people to go into a lease option, which, yeah, that's not good either. My experience on that is not good. I haven't actually done any lease ownerships at all, but I got friends who have, and it's exactly what I told them before they even got into it. Like, things you need to be prepared for initially before you even try to do that. If you want to be in a lease option, you want to at least have some money in the bank already saved up, to offset certain times when you're going to be down and you're not making any money, because if the wheels in the truck ain't moving, you ain't making no money. So, you got to be able to do that, take care of that, as well as maintenance and everything else. So, yeah, it's a rat race with that. So, I don't encourage it. Right now, as far as being a company driver, definitely making more money right now as a company driver right now. And even my company I work for right now, they even offer, option to buy trucks. And even my boss told me, sure, you can go ahead and buy a truck right now, but it's not going to be beneficial to you right now, Dewan. Like, right now, the market is just not good. And I was like, all right, cool. Thanks for the update on that. I appreciate the honesty. I'll fall back, But yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. This is the focus right now. So I'm honed in on all that. I'm on my way down to Nebraska, all the way from Wisconsin. I'm driving all night, 2 in the morning, get here around 10 o'clock in the morning and everything. So that's what I'm doing right now. And you guys stay tuned for new content. Hope you like this video. Please leave a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Peace.